Thank you for joining us today for this special program featuring the Pride of Niner Nation Marching Band.
Vicki and I have been really excited to be a part of this great university literally ever since we graduated. And we're so proud of the marching band, just 4 years old, and a huge hit both on campus and all around the community of Charlotte. And today, they're in Normandy, France, participating in an event that ties the history of our university to the history of our country.
The power of opportunity has driven UNC Charlotte since its first days as a service to veterans of World War II.
In the coming moments, think about the opportunity these talented students are living as they touch history made by the greatest generation along the Normandy coast.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you.
The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world.
Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savagely. But this is the year 1944. Much has happened since the Nazis' triumph of 1940-41. The United Nations has inflicted upon the Germans great defeat in open battle, man to man.
Our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground. Our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons and munitions of war and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men.
The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory.
Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.
We are finally here in Normandy, France.
We're actually doing this
to commemorate all of the lives that were lost, everything that we've sacrificed as a nation.
This is probably one of the most monumental times in my entire college career.
It's incredible, absolutely.
We've been talking about this for so long, for years. It's just been a thought and it's been a process, but now it's official. Tomorrow's the day we start with our ceremonies and our performances. So super excited about that.
So here we're at Pont du Arc. It's honestly a breathtaking experience to be here right now.
This is amazing. UNC Charlotte is here in the house.
Everything's like really, really breathtaking. Like it's almost kind of strange to imagine that like something so tragic happened here.
So much history right now. Can't explain it. Yeah.
It means a lot to me to know that I'm standing right where many other veterans and any allies that were here on the war have fought. So many of these veterans had to overcome all this, and from location to location that we're going to visit, it's awesome to know that everything that they were doing, they were here risking their lives. So after Pont du Arc, we'll be going to Sainte Mère Église to have our first performance in the town square.
I'm standing in the middle of the street in Sainte Mère Église, where we just performed this amazing concert for veterans in the community and celebrating America and all the troops that helped on D-Day. We couldn't be happier to be here and to do this. So while we're in Normandy, each band member gets to wear a sash representing somebody who has served in some way, shape, or capacity in our military, and through our program, we get to connect the community to this trip and to Charlotte and represent these people that have sacrificed so much of their lives. And I'm so honored to be able to be here in someone's place and celebrate for them and honor them for the sacrifices that they made for me, for their country, and for everyone. So something that made this performance and today extremely special and so overwhelming is that we had actual veterans from World War II present. Many years have gone by and there's not many of them left, and it's just an overwhelming experience to actually meet the people that made the world the way it is today, and I just couldn't be more thankful. I really couldn't.
We are on the verge of losing all of our living witnesses to the Normandy invasions and other aspects of World War II. And that's why I think it's such a great opportunity for these young people who will live into the latter half of this century to kind of be that bridge between the survivors of these events in the 1940s and the kind of late 21st century. And I think they'll always remember what they see at Normandy, and they'll be teaching their children and grandchildren. And so in some sense, I think they'll help us to not forget.
I hope they give them a few lessons in history, because that invasion, it wasn't always such a secure thing. I mean, it was touch and go many times there at the beaches. It was the 6th of June, 1944. It was quiet as can be, because everybody was out on work and the camp was empty. And when I came in, she said, "Shh." And I said, "What's going on?" She said, "There's been an invasion." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "The Allies have landed." And then they can teach them behind Fortress Europe where concentration camps, extermination camps. Hunger was the first weapon the Germans used. Hunger and dirt and neglect. Those were the simple weapons. You let people die as they are without giving them a chance to wash, without giving them a chance to change clothes, That was the so-called outside commandos. I would venture to say, if any of them lived longer than 2 or 2.5 months, it's a miracle. We have to teach that these things are possible, that human beings were capable, and if that is forgotten, God forbid, or covered over with political shenanigans, it can happen again.
Today we're performing at the Brittany American Cemetery. I'm Curtis Chansey, retired Staff Sergeant, U.S. Army, and inaugural member of the Pride of Niner Nation Marching Band. I served in the U.S. Army for 10 years in theaters of combat of Iraq, Afghanistan. Coming here to France to pay homage to the veterans who served during World War II is a sobering and overwhelming sense of joy to be able to do this for our country and serve my nation in different capacity. My grandfather Isaiah Chansey and his brother Stedman Chansey both served during World War II here in Normandy. My uncle Stedman did not return from the war, however my grandfather did. Yes, they both served in African American units during the war, segregated, but still served their nation nonetheless. I attend UNC Charlotte thanks to veteran benefits. Our founder, Bonnie Cone, if it wasn't for her fight to make sure veterans got an education after we returned home from war, I wouldn't be standing where I am right now. Looking at the headstones and knowing that there's veterans there laid in the ground, it reminds me of the brothers and sisters I lost Iraq and Afghanistan. It's a feeling that you'll never know unless you've actually been to war, knowing what these guys went through, storming the beaches, and just having that thought of, I may die right now, or I may not come home. That thought of never seeing your mama again, never, getting home, never seeing your kids grow up. And I'm pretty sure there's some people from Charlotte laid to rest in this cemetery. Most of the people in this graveyard are probably 19, 18, 21. And I remember being that 18-year-old boy, with a gun in his hand, in a foreign country, storming into somewhere to hopefully not be killed and kill someone else.
Hi Curtis, I heard you were asking about anyone from Charlotte, and we happen to have someone from Charlotte. There's another man buried here in the cemetery from Charlotte also, but he's up close to the front. And we talk about Samuel Peterson every time we do a tour because he represents the African Americans who lost their lives during World War II. there are 21 buried here. What we ordinarily do is we take this sand, and this sand is symbolic and it also has a practical reason, but this sand comes off of Omaha Beach. We go up there and get the sand off of Omaha Beach. So for the sacrifices that they gave there, that we started to give in the liberation of Europe. And I would like you to sand it. I'll show you how we start sanding the headstone. And all you do is just put it on like that and keep working it all the way across. And if you'd help me with that, I'd greatly appreciate it. The sand is symbolic because it comes from Normandy in the 6th of June, bloodshed there. And it's also a practical reason because it's a coarse grained sand and it's washed, and we can't find that anywhere else in France. So we gladly use the sand for 2 different reasons. But you can see how it stands out.
For most members of the band, this is the first opportunity they've had to travel abroad. And it's an opportunity for this current generation to appreciate in a new and vivid way the history that eventually produced our great university.
UNC Charlotte will be known as a university that came of age, that hit its stride in this, the 21st century. And we will do that by upholding the ideal that Bonnie Cone articulated so clearly, to open access and create opportunity for all deserving students.
After our program ends today, please join us in the Exponential campaign with a gift of any amount. You'll help ensure that more students will experience opportunities they have yet to even imagine, those wonderful opportunities that come with a UNC Charlotte education. Learn more about the Exponential campaign when you visit the website that accompanies our program. And now, let's go back to Normandy.
Well, this experience has been marvelous for our students. To be able to see the students walking around, viewing the crosses in the cemetery, to see them mingling with the French people, to see the joy on the faces of the French people as we perform music, and to see them dance and clap. It's just culturally, educationally, and personally, even for me, it's just been a marvelous experience.